If you're sitting at dinner with your friends and you're texting somebody who's not there, that's a problem. That's an addiction. If you're sitting in a meeting destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse. But because their parents complain. So you have a generation growing up with lower self-esteem that doesn't have the coping mechanisms didn't want to deal with the parents. Some kids got now you add in the sense of impatience. You got a medal for coming in. They've grown up in a world of instant gratification, which the science we know is pretty clear, which is it devalues the medal and the reward for those who have to work hard. And that actually, you want to watch a TV show? Binge. You don't even have to wait week to week because they know they didn't deserve it. So that actually makes them feel worse. I know people who skip seasons just so they can binge at the end of the season. They graduate school and they get a job. And they're thrust into the real world in an instant. They find out they're not special. Their moms can't get them learn how to be like, that you get nothing for coming in. And by the way, you can't just have it because you want it. You don't even have to learn and practice that skill. You don't have to be the uncomfortable one who says yes when you mean no and says no when you mean no, but yes when you... You don't have to swipe right. Bang, I'm a stud! Growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. You don't have to learn putting filters on things. The social coping mechanism. Showing people that life is amazing. Everything you want, you can have instantaneously. Everything you want. Everybody sounds gratification, and everybody sounds like they got it all figured out. And the reality is, job satisfaction, very little toughness, strength of relationships. There ain't no. And so when the more senior people say, "Slow, well, what should we do?" They sound like this is what you got to do. Messy process, and they have no clue. And so I keep meeting these fantastic, idealistic, hardworking. So you have an entire generation growing up with lower self-esteem and entry-level job. Right? I sit down with them when I go, "How's it going?" Through no fault of their own. Through no fault of their own. Right? They were dealt a bad hand. They're like. Now let's add in technology. Like, you've been here 8 months. We know that engagement with social it's as if they're standing at the foot of and our cell phones, and they have this abstract concept called impact. That's why when you get a text, which is the summit, right? What they don't we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a little lonely. I don't care if you go up the mountain. So you send out 10 texts to 10 friends and hi. And so what this young generation needs to learn is because it feels good when you get a response. It's why we count the likes. It's why we go back 10 times to see if it's going. If my Instagram is growing slower. Did I do something love wrong? Of life, self-like me anymore, right? The trauma for young kids to be unfriended, right? Take time. Because we know when you get it, you get a hit of dopamine, which feels good. It's why we like it. It's why we keep going back to it. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, if you don't ask for help and learn that skill set, and when we gamble. You will fall off the mountain. In other words, it's highly, the worst case scenario. Addictive. The worst case scenario, right? And we're already seeing it. The worst case scenario is we're seeing an increase in suicide rates, and we're seeing an increase in this generation. Alcohol. We're seeing an increase in accidental deaths due to drug overdoses on social media. We're seeing more and more kids drop out of school, opening up, take leaves of absence, and saying to our teenagers, "Hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down, this is really bad." The best case scenario. That's basically what's happening. That's basically what's happening, right? That's basically what happened. You have an entire generation that has access to an entire population growing up and going through life and just chemical called dopamine through social media and cell phones as they're going through the high stress of adolescence. Why is this important in work or in life? Almost every alcoholic discovered alcohol when they were teenagers. When we're very, very young, the only approval we need is the approval of our parents. And as we go through adolescence, we make this transition where we now need the approval of our peers. which leads very frustrating for our parents, very important for us, that allows us to acculturate outside of our immediate family, young, fantastic kids who were just dealt a bad hand. It's a highly stressful and anxious period of our lives. We put them in corporate environments that care more about our numbers than they do about the kids. Some people, quite by accident, care more about the short-term gains than the long-term life of cope with young stresses and anxieties. We care more about the year than the life becomes hardwired in their brains, right? For the rest of their lives, we are putting them in corporate environments that aren't helping them build their confidence, that aren't helping them learn the skills of cooperation, that aren't helping them overcome the challenges of a digital world and finding more balance, because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices, the need to have instant gratification. Basically, it's becoming hardwired. The joys and as they grow older, fulfillment you get from working hard don't know how to form something for a long time that cannot be done. Their words, not in a month or even in a year. They will admit that many of their friendships are, and so we're thrusting to them in corporate environments, and the worst part about it is they don't count on their friends. They blame themselves. They think it's them who can't deal. But they also know that their friends will cancel on them. It's not. I'm here to tell them it's not them. It's the corporation. It's the corporate environment set. It's the total lack. They don't have a good leadership in our world today that is making them feel the way they do. Their lives. They were dealt a bad hand, and I hate to say it, but it's the company's responsibility. Sucks to be you. Like, we have no choice, right? This is what we got, and I wish that society and their parents did a better job. They didn't. So we're getting them in our companies, and we now have to pick up the slack. We have to work extra hard to figure out the ways that we build their confidence. We have to work extra hard. There's nothing wrong with to find ways to teach them the social skills that they're missing out on. There should be no cell phones in conference rooms. None. Zero. And I don't mean the kind of like sitting outside waiting to text. I mean, like, when you're sitting and waiting for a meeting to start, this is what we all do. We all sit here and wait for the meeting to start. Meeting starting? Okay. And we start the meeting. No, that's not how relationships are formed. Remember we talked about it's the little things? Relationships are formed this way. We're waiting for a meeting to start and we go, how's your dad? I heard he was in the hospital. Oh, he's really good. Thanks for asking. He's actually at home now. Oh, I'm really glad. It was really amazing. I know, it was really scary for him. That's how you form relationships. Hey, did you ever get that report done? Oh my God, no, I didn't. I'll help you out. Can I help you out with that? Really? That's how trust forms. Trust doesn't form at an event in a day. Even bad times don't form trust immediately. It's the slow, steady consistency. And we have to create mechanisms where we allow for those little innocuous interactions to happen. But when we allow cell phones in conference rooms, we just, okay, have the meeting. And then my favorite is like when there's a cell phone there and you go like this, you go. It rings and you go. I'm not gonna answer that. Mr. Magnanimous, you know? When you're out for dinner with your friends, like, I do this with my friends. When we're going out for dinner and we're leaving together, we'll leave our cell phones at home. Who are we calling? Maybe one of us will bring the phone in case we need to call an Uber or take a picture of our meal.
That's what I was saying, come on.
I'm an idealist, but I'm not insane. You know?
Not a heathen.
I mean, it looked really good. We'll take one phone. And so it's like an alcoholic. The reason you take the alcohol out of the house is because we cannot trust our willpower. We're just not strong enough. But when you remove the temptation, it actually makes it a lot easier. And so when you just say, don't check your phone, people literally will go like this. And somebody will go to the bathroom, and what's the first thing we do? Grab the phone, because I wouldn't want to look around the restaurant for a minute and a half. But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world. And that's where ideas happen. The constant engagement is not where you have innovation and ideas. Ideas happen when our minds wander.